In this session, let us discuss some basic ideas regarding regression. The term regression was introduced by Francis Galton. According to Galton, there is a tendency for tall parents to have tall children and for short parents to have short children. However, Galton observed that the average height of children born from parents of a given height tends to move or regress towards the average height of the population as a whole. This is known as Galton's law of universal regression. So, according to Galton's law of universal regression, the height of children of unusually tall or unusually short parents tends to move towards the average height of the population. Later, this was confirmed by Karl Pearson also. Karl Pearson conducted an empirical study and his results supported Galton's law of universal regression. So, according to Galton's law of universal regression, the height of children of unusually tall or unusually short parents tends to move towards the average height of the population. Modern view of regression is slightly different from Galton's view. In his universal law of regression, Galton was interested in finding out why there was stability in the distribution of heights in a population. However, the modern regression analysis examines the dependence of the dependent variable on one or more explanatory variables with a view to estimate or predict the mean or average value of the dependent variable in terms of known or fixed values of the independent variable. So, in regression analysis, we are trying to predict or estimate the mean or average value of the dependent variable in terms of fixed values of the independent variable. So, let us focus on modern interpretation of regression. Here we are initially considering two-variable regression analysis. In a two-variable regression model, there are only two variables. One variable is the dependent variable and the other variable is the independent variable. So, in any two-variable regression model, there is one dependent variable and one independent variable. In order to understand the idea of regression in a clear way, let us examine some examples. First, let us examine a scatter diagram which shows the distribution of heights of sons in a hypothetical population corresponding to the given or fixed values of the father's height. So, this is the scatter diagram. In the x-axis, we are taking father's height, and along the y-axis, we take son's height. Both father's height and son's heights are measured in inches. So, here we can see the distribution of son's heights corresponding to given heights of fathers. First, let us take father's height as equal to 60 inches. So, here we can see the distribution of son's heights. We can see that son's height falls within a range of values. There are some tall sons, there are some short sons, and for a given level of father's height is equal to 60, the average value of son's height is given within a circle. Similarly, for a given value of 65 as father's height, we have the distribution of son's heights. The average value of the son's height is shown within a circle. For other levels of father's heights also, we have the distribution of son's height, and the average value of son's height is given, and the line joins the average value of the son's heights. So we can see that in this scatter diagram, average height of sons generally increases as the height of father increases, and the line which connects the average height shows, the line which connects the average height is the regression line, and it shows how the average height of the sons increases with the father's height. Now let us consider another example. In this hypothetical example, we are considering a population of 60 families. We assume that there are 60 families in a population, and the dependent variable Y is the monthly consumption expenditure, and independent variable X is the monthly income. So within this population of 60 families, we can identify let us assume that we can identify 10 income groups. So we have 10 subpopulations on the basis of income. So here we have taken income along the x-axis and consumption expenditure along the y-axis. So we can identify 10 income brackets or income groups. For each income group, we have distribution of consumption expenditure, and for each level of income, the average values of consumption expenditure are shown, and the line joins the average values of the consumption expenditure for each level of income. So we can see that for each income bracket, there is variability in consumption expenditure. For each income bracket, consumption expenditure is not the same. It varies, and there is variability in consumption expenditure. And we can calculate the mean or average monthly consumption expenditure for each level of income. We can also see that on an average, consumption expenditure increases as income increases. So we have 10 mean consumption expenditure values for 10 subpopulation. These mean values are known as the conditional expected values, and conditional expected values are denoted as expectation of y given xi. You have to read this as expected value of y given the value of x. Expected value of y given the value of x. So when we join the conditional mean values, we get the population regression line, or it is also known as population regression curve. So population regression curve joins the conditional mean values. So population regression line is the locus of the conditional means or conditional expectations of the dependent variable for fixed values of the explanatory variable. Here you have to understand that conditional expectation is different from unconditional expected value. Unconditional expected value or unconditional mean value is obtained by adding the total values and dividing by the number of families. Here, conditional mean value or conditional expectation is for a given value of the explanatory or independent variable. For a given value of income, what is the average value? So conditional expected value shows the average value for a given level of income. For a particular level of income, what is the average value of consumption? So in our example, there are 10 income groups, and so we get 10 conditional expectations, 10 conditional expected values corresponding to given levels of income. Now let us examine what is a population regression function. each conditional mean or each conditional expected value of y given xi is a function of xi, where xi denotes a given value of x. So, expected value of y given for a given value of xi is a function of xi. That is, the conditional mean or conditional expected value of y for a given value of xi is functionally related to xi. This function is known as conditional expectation function or population regression function, or it is also known as population regression. So, population regression function states that expected value of the distribution of y given xi is functionally related to xi. So, this population regression function shows how the mean or average response of the dependent variable varies with the explanatory variable. Now, let us examine the functional form of the population regression function. Let us assume that consumption expenditure is linearly related to income. So, we are assuming that there is a linear relationship between consumption expenditure and income. So, population regression function, expected value of y given xi is a linear function of xi. So, we can write like this: expected value of y given xi is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 xi, where beta 1 and beta 2 are the fixed parameters, and in the population regression function, beta 1 and beta 2 are the regression coefficients, and beta 1 is the intercept term and beta 2 is the slope coefficient, and the model is a linear population regression function or a linear population regression model. There are two interpretations to the meaning of linear population regression function. Linearity can be either in variables or can be in parameters. If variables are raised to the first power only, we say that there is linearity in variables. That is, if in a regression model, variables appear with a power of 1, we say that the model is linear in variables. Geometrically, the regression curve is a straight line when there is a linear relationship. If parameters are raised to the first power only, we say that there is linearity in parameters. So, if parameters in a regression model appear with a power of 1, we say that there is linearity in parameters. That model may or may not be linear in the explanatory variables. Since linearity in parameters is relevant for the development of regression theory, from now onwards the term linear regression refers to linearity in parameters. So, we are focusing on linearity in parameters. Now, let us examine the stochastic specification of the population regression function. In our previous example, for a given level of income, a family's consumption expenditure is clustered around the average consumption of all families at that xi. So, in our previous example, we found that for a particular level of income, the family's consumption expenditure clusters around the conditional expected value. So, in a stochastic specification of the population regression function, we can see that deviation of an individual yi around its expected value is equal to yi minus expected value of y given xi. The deviation of an individual y around its expected value is denoted by ui, and ui is equal to yi minus expected value of y given xi. So, rearranging these terms, yi is equal to expected value of y given xi plus ui, where ui is the unobservable random term. We cannot observe that random term, but there is a random term. and ui is also known as stochastic disturbance term, or simply it is known as the stochastic random term. So we have already found that when there is a linear relationship between yi and xi, we can write like this: yi is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 xi plus ui. This is the stochastic specification of the population regression function, and here in this stochastic specification of the population regression function, you can see that population regression function has two components. First is a systematic component, or it is also known as a deterministic component, and the second part is the non-systematic or random component. Here in the stochastic specification of the population regression function, yi is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 xi. That is the systematic or deterministic component, and ui shows the non-systematic or random component. So beta 1 plus beta 2 xi, that is the systematic part. Ya is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 xi is the deterministic or systematic part, and the stochastic specification, in the stochastic specification we are introducing a random component also, and random component or non-systematic component is denoted by ui.